Flocka.
Yo, what's going on? This is Relaxing Nil G _ Jackson, and we are back for the year 2022. What it do? And we are here to present to you our top 10 hip hop rap albums of the year
from 2020. Yeah. Well, I don't even want to cut you off. Go ahead, finish your thought, man.
Nah, I fucked up, but it's all good. I fixed it, and we are here to present this to the people. How are you guys feeling?
Man, I can't complain, bro. It's 2022. Going over, had a chance to sit back, recap all my favorite albums from 21, just to come here to give to you guys. The first time back, fresh off vacation, straight out the jet. You know what I'm saying? I would go more into detail, but I know my co-host got some things to say. So, go ahead, Big Cozy.
Hey man, shouts out to everybody. It's your boy Big Cozy. You already know what the fuck going on, man. Let's get to this album reviews. You know, Highly Advised podcast. We took a well enjoyed break. We all three of us have important things going on in our lives. So listeners, we're coming back to you. This is the first of many that we're returning with. I want to say shouts out to Nigel, shouts out to Spence, because they got those guys, they kind of held it down for the lovely ladies of She's Single New York coming on here. And hopefully those lovely ladies return. We've been fucking with you. We've been watching the TV show.
Yeah.
But it's not about that right now. It's about these motherfucking top 10 albums of 2021.
All right, so the way it goes is we made our top 10s, combined them, and essentially figured out as to where the albums ranked for us, as to what we thought was the best and what we thought not necessarily was the worst, but just what was the best and what ranked wherever in our top 10. So y'all ready?
Yes.
Yeah, man. Let's do it. You're the narrator. You're in charge.
Yeah, just to add a little bit more color to it, just to get our fans' ideas. So, in the ranking, anything that's a 1, we all decided to do is individually make our own. We all took a group of 14, 15 albums from last year, took them. We all took our own votes. Anything 1 through 10, if it's a 10, we all gave it a 1. If it was a 1, we gave it 10 points. Put those numbers together. Came up with a top 10 for y'all. Can't wait to see how this goes. Nobody knows this except Nigel. So
yeah, except for him.
Yeah, except for me. So y'all ready? All right, boom.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
So at number 10, we have The Plugs I Met Too by Benny the Butcher and Harry Fraud.
Okay,
I'm not mad at that.
I'm not mad at it. What I will say is, if I'm not mistaken, guys, I think that was like one of the earlier projects of 2021. So when that dropped, I know all three of us were definitely eager to tune into it. It didn't disappoint. It was good. I guess part of the reason why it's number 10 is because there were better projects in this one, but that's not a knock on Benny, not a knock on Harry Fraud. They both make great music together. We're definitely heard better from Benny. Not saying Plugs I Met 2 is bad, because obviously it's our top 10 and it was better than Plugs I Met 1. But I don't think it was better than Burden of Proof. And I know Tana Talk 4 is on the way, and there's a lot of hype on that. But shouts out to Benny, shouts out to Harry Fraud, and shouts out to Griselda. Dope project.
And not only that, I feel like it was more of a holdover project for Tana Talk 4 anyway. I think we all know that Tana Talk 4 is like the big project to come out. And, you know, Plugs I Met 2 wasn't bad by any means. It's just our number 10, you know?
Yeah.
So, you have anything to say, Spence?
Yeah, I definitely agree to that. For me, I had it at 8, so it wasn't too far from 10 at the end of the day. It was a great album nonetheless. Benny, I think he did deliver. I do agree. Definitely as a person that's been vocal of saying that Plugs I Met 1 wasn't a favorite project by me. So he did come through last year in 2021 and cleaned up with this album. Definitely with Harry Fraud. Everybody knows him in terms of production wise. So yeah, overall I like the album. It was close to me. It was close to a perfect album for the most part. Give or take a couple songs. Just I think based off of the length of the album, but overall it wasn't a bad album. I think for me, I would say my favorite verse from this album, especially in terms of features, might be from Jim Jones on Longevity. Just
Okay.
just because I think anybody that is familiar with French Montana and Jim Jones, that's something in itself to have them both on a song. So
Song's
Yeah.
a dope
Yeah.
song.
yeah, definitely. So that and Survivor's Remorse might be my favorite song from that album, though. Nonetheless,
Fair enough. Fair enough.
so we got it coming in on.
At number 9, we have Coupe de Gras by Ransom and Rome Streets.
Now,
Nice.
shouts out to Ransom and Rome Streets. They're both, wow, so far New York rappers. I love it. Because in my personal opinion, you guys can disagree. I think New York rappers are the best rappers out there when they're really trying. Shouts out to like ASAP Rocky, right? But but for
Yo, shouts out ASAP Rocky for
Talking about lyrics. Go ahead.
but for this project to me was surprise project of the year for me. And I gotta be honest, I didn't put it in my top 10, not because it was bad by all. I actually thoroughly enjoyed this project. I didn't put it in my top 10 because there was just others projects that I just liked a lot more. But this project here was dope. I think they're both lower key artists, unless you're a Griselda fan, you know, of Rome Streets, you know, new signee, or if you're familiar with the Buffalo Wave, you would understand like, oh, okay, I've heard Ransom before and all that. But I think this was a good introduction to those who's getting into the modern day of underground hip hop. And I think that both of them mesh really well. My favorite track off the project was the one with Shay Noir. I thought it was like great storytelling on there. I know some people would like to analyze, but like, oh, what does it really mean? As far as music goes, it was dope. So shouts out to both Rome Streets and Ransom. I thought it was definitely a surprise of 2021.
For me, I like listening to it. I think my favorite song might be Pray for the Weak. Like, I really enjoy that album. There's a lot of good beats on there. Ransom really killed it on there, and Rome Streets was no slouch either. You know what I mean? Like, they were both really carrying the beats that they were I don't want to say that. They were rapping well on the beats that they were rapping on because the beats were well produced. So
Yes.
like, it's definitely worth a listen.
Nah, that's definitely a fact. Like, I agree with you. I think this was a really good project. If I had a chance, I wish I could have put it in my top 10. But just like Lau said, it was hard. There were so many good albums that came out this year. In 2021, that it just made it a little harder for me to actually put it higher up. But nonetheless, to me, I think this was a great album. Nonetheless, you have someone like Ransom, who's essentially a veteran in the game, been around since. Essentially, he's the reason for Vlad TV to some extent, right? So going from all the way from a rapper going that far back of being a barsmith to someone that's new and young in terms of the public, i.e. Rome Streets. I think Rome Streets was able to definitely be able to hold himself super well. Definitely when you're rapping against someone that's a veteran who's put out like 4 projects in 2021, as well as like I think 3 projects in 2020, which to me I think Ransom actually had actually a couple good projects, solo projects as well. So to me, I think this was a great project. Nonetheless, I'm glad to see that these two guys can actually put some music together and they mesh well. No one sounded like one artist outdid another. They sound to be honest with you, to me they sound like a great duo.
Yeah,
personally,
they do.
Like if they did a series of this, I think from a fan standpoint, I think it would elevate both their careers, as well as I think it would just be one of those new waves, one of the new additions to this wave of music that we have right now. So
yeah, 100%.
Hopefully we see some more from them together as well as apart as well in 2022. So
For sure.
All right. At number 8, we have Pray for Haiti by Makani.
So Pray for Haiti was higher on my list. I thoroughly enjoyed this project. I heard of Makani before because I'm actually a fan of the God Fahim, and I listened to quite a few of the God Fahim's projects for a couple of years now, and I heard Makami through him. Now I know other artists like Earl Sweatshirt had Makami songs as well on their projects, or they're featured in Makami projects, whatever. But Pray for Haiti was like the first real introduction to the rap game for Makami, because not only you had the Griselda backing, the West Side curating it, but you had people like Drake posting the Makami songs on his story and stuff like that. Pray for Haiti. Pray for Haiti's damn good. It's a damn good project. Anybody who's looking for like really dope rap music, motherfucker that's really rapping, you need to listen to Makami. I recommend Pray for Haiti as your first selection when it comes to Makami. Shouts out to Makami. Pray for Haiti. Let's go. Shouts out to Griselda.
For me, like Pray for Haiti was a good project, but it wasn't perfect. But I felt like for me being my first Makami project, I actually enjoyed it quite a bit and listened to it more than a lot of other albums. I thought his rapping was better than a lot of other rappers. I think the only reason why for me it wasn't really high on my list was because some of the beat selection wasn't necessarily my favorite. And like while I did like the songs I really liked, the songs that I didn't like, I barely ever listened to those songs. So it was just one of those things where it was good, but it wasn't like perfect.
I mean, I can understand that. Like, I mean, and I think that's the thing when you have an artist like Makami, when the majority of his new fan base, or the majority of his, not majority, but I'm sure there's a good portion of his fan base now going into 2022 that came from this project, whether it came from the quote unquote the Drake cosign, because Drake has done that before for other artists, i.e., someone like G Herbo, for instance, and Lil Bibby. So like seeing someone, even once you get some type of cosign, even in that fashion, I think it means there's something more to come from them. But in terms of just the album itself, I do agree where it was in terms of rapping ability and being new to him. I was surprised to see the just how lyrical he was able to get, as well as just the flow he had, which was much different than other artists that we heard, even over similar sampled beats. The beat selection to me was very Griselda-esque, of course. I think there were some Griselda producers on this album. If not all the producers may have been Griselda related or within that tree somehow.
Yeah.
But overall, I think to me, I actually had this album at 12 on my list out of the albums that we did have to go off of. But overall, I can't get mad. I think the Creole skit, which was probably one of my favorites, just because it had the conversation of just the regional differences of their dialect, right? Which I think it kind of leans more into like, hey, Pray for Haiti, definitely at the time when I think they had just came from a disaster. It was just a disaster in Haiti. So to me, I think this was just super dope. Definitely as a tribute to his country, as well as keeping just some of those roots that he stems from being Haitian. He was able to put that on the album. So overall, I would just say my favorite song from this album was probably Rami, where him and Westside are going back to back in terms of bars. So, but yeah, that's what I got for this album. Hopefully we see some more from him in this coming year.
Wasn't this album fully produced by a conductor, if I'm not mistaken?
No, I think it was I think Spence hit the nail on the head where it was all Griselda producers, but I don't think it was one exclusive producer.
Okay.
I remember, I do remember conductor, but I think there is somebody else. I think there's at least one or two more producers on this one.
Okay. Well, speaking of Drake, at number 6, 7?
Yeah, we're at 7 now.
At number 7, we have Certified Lover Boy by Drake.
So I'm not gonna lie, guys. When I first listened to the album, I was kind of like, it's all right, it's not bad. There's some songs on here I like No Friends in the Industry. But after listening to it a while, it just grew on me. I was just like, you know what? I kind of like this. Whether people hate it or not, fuck it. I fuck with this album. For real, I fucks with this album. I could listen to it and not hate it. And I'm not saying that should be a basis for like a top 10 rap album. But to me, I was like, I actually enjoy what I'm listening to. Like I some songs I sing along to some of them. Like I fuck with it. So I was like, whatever, all the hate that it got, whatever last year, fuck it, man. I put Certified Lover Boy in my top 10. So I think Drake, he did it again. Yeah, it's not to interrupt you, but I'm not going to say this is Drake's best album. No, but I thought it was a good offering for last year.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I don't think it was his. I agree. I don't think this was Drake's best album, right? But I think we also know why a lot of hate came towards Certified Lover Boy. One, because there was a big hype and anticipation. This album was supposed to come out at the end of 2020, I believe. And then it got pushed. It was like October of 2020. Then it got pushed to January of 21. And then, of course, once it's supposed to come out, we had the whole thing with Donda. So I think it did get overshadowed somewhat by that. But I mean, overall, I think to me, this was a great album. It wasn't too many skips. Even like the I'm Too Sexy grew on me. But I mean, I heard someone point this out. How like, even if you play something enough, it's going to grow on you no matter what it is. So like,
there's some songs that like
for the most part,
you could play Imagine Dragons 20 times in a row. It's going to be super trash to me. And shouts out to Imagine Dragons and all their fans and lovers. They're not a music group that I'm interested in listening.
I mean, I respect that, but to me, I think like just in terms of conditioning, I think overall, I still believe that statement is true, right? Where if you play a song long enough over a course of time, maybe not 20 times in a row, but if it's like someone's playing the song, if let's say every time you come into work, someone plays a song every day you come into work, or if it's once or twice every week you come into work or whatever, you're hearing the song, eventually it kind of it can have a chance of growing on you. But nonetheless, like just in terms of Certified Lover Boy, I think this album was good. It, of course, in terms of like Drake compared to Drake, it's not high on his catalog, but in terms of 21, it was a good album, great features. 21 Savage was probably one of my favorite features. Didn't really care for I'm Too Sexy, but I understood what the record was for. 7 a.m. in Bridal is probably one of my favorite joints, just because it's anytime you give Drake a time and a location, he never disappoints for the most part. So, or at all for that matter. So, but to me, I think this was just this was good. I think it was entertaining, as well as seeing how things would end up unfolding in terms of Certified Lover Boy. But yeah, it's a pretty good album though. And I actually had it at 7, so that actually worked out perfectly for me.
For me, this album was actually pretty good. The only reason why it ranked so lowly on my list is because there was just other albums that were just better than this album. Like, it's not because it was bad. Even the skippable songs aren't necessarily terrible songs. I don't think there's a terrible song on this album. It just wasn't the best album. That's it. You know what I mean? And that's kind of the way I see it.
Yeah. I mean, plus you don't really care for Drake. So
I knew it.
You know what? I got it. Hey, man, I have to defend Nigel on this.
Thank you.
This time I'm defending him. Nigel put me on to some Drake shit. And for the Drake hater, I'm surprised. See? So he's no longer a Drake hater.
What Drake song was it?
Which one was it, Nigel? What was it, like Desires and some shit? Yeah, some other shit as well. But he's not a Drake hater. I had to defend him on that one.
I'm surprised. Desires. I'm surprised. Isn't that from? No,
I think that's from originally. It's from that leak.
Right. That's why I first heard it, but then it was on Dark Lane demo tapes, I think.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, I didn't really care for Dark Lane demo tapes.
I fucked with Dark Lane. I like Dark Lane demo tapes.
Nah, I probably played it like once or twice when it came out, and then I kind of just skipped past it. Because to me, it wasn't really. I don't know. To me, the whole Tootsie slide thing around that.
All right,
just wasn't a fan of it.
You guys are going to probably disagree. I like Dark Lane demo tapes better than Certified Lover Boy.
Nah, I don't.
I
like Certified Lover Boy more.
Nah, Drake is rapping. I think I think when Drake is rapping on CLB, he's rapping better than Dark Lane demo tapes.
I'll give you that. The rapping is definitely better on CLB. I'm not gonna dispute that. I just think like vibe purposes.
I
mean,
think some
from
of the
vibe
songs
purpose,
just
I
sound
can't.
better.
Say that again.
I think some of the songs just sound better. Like I think the songs are just better made on this album too. You know what I mean? Like most of the on CLB, like I like the beat production more.
Fair enough.
Hmm.
And I think Dark Lane demo tapes, what, like 80% of it was from the leak anyway?
I couldn't tell you. I'm
Oh,
not
it's
sure.
something.
I think I think Dark Lane demo tapes was like, I think he was supposed to put out CLB or something that year. And maybe he put out I think Dark Lane demo tapes was like a carryover or something like that.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, and then that's when he did the Tootsie Slide because he was trying to have a viral song.
TikTok. I mean, it worked for the most part.
Manufactured, but yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely was.
All right.
Like, he posts as a kid dancing to an unreleased song of his and then said, yo, put this on TikTok and release the song. Come on, yo. But nonetheless, shout out to Drake being number 7. Hopefully he comes out in 2022 with a better album. I think when we go into our first episode coming back, we'll be able to actually kind of talk as to why Drake may have a chance of having a really good album this coming around, just in terms of source content. So
yeah.
All right. So at number 6, we have Bo Jackson by Boldy James and the Alchemist.
Nigel, go ahead, take this one away.
All right. So for me, the way I see it is like, I like this album. I thought it was a good album. This is another album that I actually didn't think was perfect, but I thought it was a good album. Honestly, I'm not going to lie. I might have liked Super Tecmo Bowl slightly more, but like, I don't know if I'd like it more to put it on this list. You know, like I can't say that it would like blow anything else out of the water that would be on here, but it was still a pretty damn solid project, you know? So like, I don't know. Like, you know, to me, I think this is right around where it should be personally. But I mean, what do y'all think?
I like the Bo Jackson. I'll put it in my personal top 10. I think it's great. I agree with you, Nigel. Not every song on here was perfect. There was like 1 or 2 songs where I'm kind of like, is there not bad songs? But it was like, hey, if I don't hear them again, I'm okay. Right. So I do disagree with you about the Super Tecmo Bowl. Not saying that project was bad. I just thought Bo Jackson was better than that. That's just it's just my opinion, of course. But I think this project is good. I think Boldy James and Alchemist, they're just like you were saying about Ransom and Rose Streets, or was that you, Spence, that was saying Ransom, Rose Streets? I think they're just a good rapper producer duo, and I think that they make good music together. And I think it really helps Boldy James shine. You know, because I feel like when Boldy James is rapping on a multitude of producers, like on one project, it's okay. It's not bad. Not because he's not a bad rapper, but I just think he's one of those rappers that really does well with a solo producer, like a designer tape producer. I think he's just like that. Like I thoroughly enjoyed the Versace tape with him and Jay Versace. Of course, I liked all the Alchemist projects with him and Boldy James. I didn't care for the Real Bad Man guy, whoever the fuck that is. But what I'm saying is just, I just think Boldy James is a good designer tape rapper, and I fucks with it.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you put it in terms of designer tape rappers, I think he definitely does fit that criteria when it comes to delivering. Personally, to me, I think Bojack, this album, Bojack, was probably one of his best projects to me.
Okay.
To me, I may have it as his best project overall. But outside of that, like to me, this actually did come in number 6 for me, just based off the other albums that were out here. But yeah, to me, this was like a great project nonetheless. Alchemist, as always, delivers when it comes to production. Boldy James, of course, knows how to. He's been around long enough, and he knows how to rap well enough to actually be able to ride these beats, tell some stories, make you feel like he's able to rap in a way that you feel like he's in the beat or whatever, if that makes any sense, or you can connect or feel what he's saying. So like, even to me, like double hockey sticks, right? It's probably one of my favorite songs off this project, as well as First 48 Freestyle, which is hands down probably my favorite. So this is a great project. And like I said, in terms of all his projects, I think this is best. But in terms of like just the projects from this year, I'm actually surprised somewhat that he actually beat out Drake, just in terms of a consensus by all of us. But I'm not mad at it. He just better rapping and design. Well, just a designer tape nonetheless. The designer tape rapper against the designer tape god, I guess you can say.
I just think what Boldy James, I just felt like when I could listen to Bo Jackson LP next year and the year after. I could go back to it. Certified Lover Boy, it's not that I can't go back to it, but it'll just be like, all right, there's going to be certain songs I want to hear instead of just listen to the whole album. While Bo Jackson LP, I could just let it the whole album spin. That's my difference between this album that we're talking about and CLB.
Okay, I'm not mad at that.
So at number 5, we have Magic by Nas.
Okay, I mean, listen, I'm not mad at that. I think with Magic coming out in December at the end of the year,
Right.
and Nas had already dropped King's Disease too, which was in August, I believe, of last year as well. I'm not surprised that this ended up making as high as it did. I think to me it was just to me, in comparison to King's Disease 2, I think it was a better album in terms of Nas' rapping ability and beats together. I don't really have a favorite song from this album just because it was just the way Nas was able to rap back to back to back. To me, when I'll never forget when I first played this album, I said to myself, Nas is rapping at a higher level than the majority of just rappers in general. And he's been rapping, and I think we all can say Nas is considered probably one of the top 5 lyricists by rap hip hop consensus.
Yeah.
If you're over the age of like 27, right?
Yeah.
27, 25, 27, hip hop consensus, Biggie, Jay-Z, and Nas. Nas is a top tier lyricist. To rap like this still at this late in the game, 20, 30 years in practically since your first album, it was amazing, man. It was amazing. Hopefully, and I mean, he kind of gave a sneak that we'll get a King's Disease 3 this year, so which is going to be even better. So yeah, I was happy about this album. This is the album I think. I think this is just the album that I think a lot of people wanted from Nas.
So I'm gonna admit, I had Magic in my top 10. King's Disease 1, I was like, okay, it's all right. I fuck with it. King's Disease 2, Nigel will tell you, I wasn't the biggest fan of that shit. But when Magic came out, I was like, yo, this one is the one. I'm just surprised he dropped it so late and not dropped it. And he should have took King Disease 2, Frisbee did, and put out Magic. And I would have been like, yeah, I wouldn't be mad at that being Grammy nominated. But who knows about the Grammys these days? But I think Magic is good. I'm agree with Spence though about like I don't have a favorite song yet, not because like thinking off top of my head, I like Hollywood Gangsta. I like the Wave God song with him and A$AP Rocky, but I like Ugly too. But what I'm saying is just I don't know, man. I think I like this project as a whole. Like I fucks with all the songs. It's not one like song that's like, yo, da-da. I think I just like this as a body is worked together. And I gotta give shout out to Nas for, of course, killing it in his fucking 40s or 50s, how old he is, and Hit Boy for, having comeback of the fucking decade. Because he came back and he did 3 great projects, 3 solid ones at least. But I'll have to say, shouts out to Nas. Man. He's a goat.
Oh, that's a fact without question.
And I'm gonna say something a little controversial right now, but I think that gap between him and Jay-Z is thinning out.
In terms of what? Like in just terms of overall, like what do you music wise? I mean, I can't go that far just because like
right. I mean, I'm just saying he just dropped 3 albums that people are really fucking with lyrically.
Bro, that's fine. I'm fine with that. But at the same time, when we're talking overall, Like we're talking overall. Nas, I think to me, I would say it was his first two albums classics. After that, there's a lot of ins and
Yeah.
outs. There's a lot of
Yeah.
ins and outs where
I agree with it.
at the same time
Dry
when
periods.
when
Dry periods.
dry period when Jay-Z was still on top and running the game. So it's like Jay-Z
I'm not gonna argue with that.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like I'm not mad at your opinion, but when it's to me, when it's all said and done, Nas lyrically, I have no problem saying Nas is a better lyricist than Jay-Z any day of the week. No problem with that. But in terms of terms of rapping, in terms of bodies of work that they've put out, I have to go with Jay-Z, not even from a bias standpoint. It's just like Nas had to not this. We're literally getting the Nas we're getting now with Hit Boy is the Nas that people have wanted for years. Why? Oh, Nas is a great lyricist, but he raps on horrible beats. Oh, he doesn't pick the best beats. That was a thing that's troubled him for decades. Life is Good was literally when he started working with newer producers. I forget the dude's name, the dude that worked with Amy Winehouse for Life is Good. Great project. It started with an R, but great project. But Nas is in his third leg or second leg of this rap race, if that's what you want to call it. He's doing really great. I'll give him that.
That's why I said the gap is closing. I didn't say he passed Jay-Z. I just said the gap is closing. I knew it, and that's why I said it's controversial because I knew you was gonna get worked up, bro. This is the most energy you had tonight.
Because it's hard to me. I see it like this, right? If I was killing it when you came in, you was hot, and then I took over and I killed it longer than you when you was active. Then in the back ends of our careers, I had my dry period was why you still had a dry. When I was hot, you had a dry period. When I had a dry period, you had a dry period. When you started rapping again, I was rapping again. So to me, it's like just the tenure alone. It's like, yo, higher level, can't. But Nas is a good rapper though. Shout out to
Nigel, what did you already give your opinion of Magic?
It's real quick. Just, I thought this album was damn near perfect. That's the thing. My only issue with it, as far as this list goes, is that it came out so late. That's the only thing. It's hard to compare it to shit that came out in like January. You know what I mean? Like, so this album, I have no issues with it at all. I think it's a great album. I think that it's arguably one of Nas's best albums just because it is literally damn near perfect. There's no bad songs on it, so... Right. I mean, it's a good album, but at number 6, I'm sorry, what number are we on?
We're on 4, bro.
Thank you.
5, 4, 3, 2. Yeah, we're on 4.
At number 4, we have Donda by Kanye West.
Not gonna surprise. I had Donda in my top 10, but I didn't have it that high. I thought Donda. I like the production. I think the features for the most part was dope. I like Kanye's rapping on there. I think it was good. My criticism of Donda was I just think that it was oversaturated with features. And I didn't mind the whole blending of gospel music in there. I didn't mind that. But I didn't feel like the album had like a direction. It felt more like a compilation. Like, this is what I call hip hop.
Really? Because to me, it felt like it had a direction, the whole album. Because to me, it was like for the most, as we heard Soulja Boy's verse, right? And we heard why.
Jesus.
Like it was a trash verse first and foremost. Shout out to Soulja Boy. First trash verse did not make it to Donda. But to me, it was cohesive. To me, I think even feature wise, most of the features were rappers that of course, it was either censored or it had something to do with like that subject matter, whether it's going through something or some type of trial or tribulation or reflecting on where you've been or something to that extent for me in terms of like most of the features I got. Or of course, even like someone like Jay-Z where he's maybe not talking about that, but he's talking about Kanye and his mom and getting them back right, X, Y, and Z. So to me, I didn't really see it like that. To me, I felt like the album had a direction though. But to me, it was production wise, it was immaculate. To me, features were like the Avengers of features. Fabio had the best verse possibly on this album overall.
No, come on.
No,
if you said best feature, cool, but best verse.
Let's be honest here. There's no Kanye does not have the best verse on any song on this album. Now we're talking. If you want to talk
about the deluxe, are you talking about deluxe? Or are you talking about original?
The original. I'm talking about the original. I don't like personally. I don't really listen to deluxes. So like to me, like the original.
I hope that trend dies this year. I hate the deluxe album drive.
Bro, it's annoying. It's annoying because literally guys are putting out 2 new songs in just some music videos and saying, "Oh, this is the deluxe."
Yep.
So, and then the crazy part is, and I'm sure you guys have noticed this on Apple Music and probably other streaming platforms as well. Once they put out a deluxe, you have to literally manually search for the original album.
Boom. That's so what I do personally for that is, all right, the deluxe comes out, I'm just going to download the deluxe songs only. And if I like it, cool, it'll be both in my library. If I don't like it, fuck the deluxe, I'll still have the original. Because you're right, it like overrides the fucking original. And I hate that too.
Bro, listen, I'm not even gonna lie to you. When a deluxe comes out, I more often I don't even play a deluxe. Like because to me, I like whatever you gave me initially is what I want to. To me, that's what I want to judge it off of. Now, if we're talking to deluxe and we're talking Life of the Party as a song as well, hands down, Andre 3000 has the best verse on the whole album. Probably one of the best verses of the year. If we're talking about the deluxe. So
for 2022 we gotta do top 10 songs of the year, because like that song was a top 10 song, the Life of the Party.
Easy. Oh yeah, I'm not mad at that.
Yeah,
I think if we did something like that would be perfect, because something like Life of the Party, even some of these, even though there's other songs from these other albums that I would have loved to see as a top 10 song, whether a top 10 song that came out as a single or if we're doing top 10 album cuts from or something like that, like because it deserves its right, because Drake tried to put it out, then it backfired on him. It was the best song between the best song between both albums. So
yeah,
my only gripe with Donda is that it's just too long. That's it. Like, I'm not going to sit here and listen to all of Donda all the time. I'm not. I listen to Hurricane a lot because I think that song's the shit. And I listen to Remote Control because I think that song's the shit too. But I mean, like, it's just a long ass album. Like, that's my only gripe with it. Like, I think most of the songs are good. If I'm skipping it, it's usually not because I hate the song. But I think because of that, I can't really, if I can't get through the whole album, then I can't give the album that high of a grade. You know what I mean? And that just is what it is for me.
I mean, I'm not mad at that. I mean, to me, that was my biggest con from this album, is that it was entirely too long. If he made it shorter, I think it would make it easier to give it a higher ranking. For me, I had it ranked as number 3 in my personal list. It really wasn't, to me, it was in competition to be one of the best albums. But to me, I feel like you can't have the best album of the year if the artist, the main artist, whoever project it is not rapping that great on the project. If all your features are great and you're not rapping that great, you can't be number 1. But yeah, I definitely agree. Like 2.5 hours. To me, this album is probably the best to play on a Sunday or whenever you're cleaning. Like if I'm cleaning or if I'm like going to do something, it's great background music, I think. Just because it's just too long of an album. So
at number 3, we have.
Ooh, this is gonna be crazy.
Yeah, the big 3. Y'all ready?
Let's do it.
Hitler Wears Hermes 8, Side A.
Ooh.
By West Side Gun.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna lie, y'all. This was my number 1 album. I thought this album was fantastic.
This was my number 1 too.
To me, there's no bad songs on this album. I think it's great. I think it's my favorite West Side project. I think that because he's been putting out music so consistently, but this is like a very concise, very well produced, very well rapped project. And I think what sets it aside from other projects is, like, for me, West Side Gun, as much as I see him as more of a curator for his music, I think on this album he really took out the time to I think his rapping really shows on this album more so than some of his other projects, in my opinion. So I just really enjoyed this album.
Yeah, man. I think this album was just very concise. It was very well put together. It was like fucking theater. I was just like, this is crazy. We all know West Side Gun is not the best rapper in Griselda. We all know that. It might be debatable that Armani Caesar might be a better rapper than him. So like I said, it's debatable. That's another conversation if you disagree. But shouts out to both of them because I fuck with both of them. And Westside will probably like that. He loves putting on his people. So I just thought this was very concise, very well put together. The production is near perfect. The verses, the features, near perfect. And I was just like, wow. Like, I think the album totals like what, half an hour? That's a good half hour of fucking music. And it's just pure rap, no bullshit. I was like, man, I had to buy the vinyl. Even if it's a little expensive, I gotta buy that bitch. And I did. So I'm happy. Shouts out to Westside. I know he's retired. I don't know for how long, but let's say, and I'm not saying he will, but if he said Hitler, where's Hermes 9? I wouldn't be upset, even though he said that he's retiring the series. But all I'm saying is just, I agree with Nigel. This is the best West Side Gun project, side A.
I mean, I'm not mad at that. I didn't have it on my list. I primarily just focused on side B more than side A. But side A, I can say from what I remember, and even looking at it now, it had some great features. I think this is the one where Stove Got Cooks was primarily the main featured artist on this album. From what I remember, it was the production was great as always, and of course, like we said before, Westside Gun knows how to curate, and he knows how to put artists together. And personally, even though he says he's retiring after that release last year, I don't believe it, because of just to put out something like that, and you're putting it out from the standpoint of just from having the ear of like, hey, like a DJ Khaled or somebody like that, like, hey, I want you and you and you to get on this one song or whatever. So it to me, I'll put it like this. I think I'm interested to see what happens, because to put out something like that, a project like that, especially two sides, which ended up actually being on our top 10 overall, one being 3 and one being, I think, 10 as well. Like this is impressive, 10 or 9 or something like that. But this is impressive. Like shout outs to Westside.
So at number 2, we have The Off Season by J. Cole.
I'm not mad at that.
I'm gonna say that the album was fantastic. I think before the year was over, and I think before what I'm guessing what number 1 is going to be, a lot of people have this as the album of the year. A lot, and I'm not talking about just us three, because we are the general consensus. But when I'm just saying, like, the little minions in the comments and the Rudy Poo candy asses out there, they all said, hey, Cole got it. This album to me was good, man. I don't got nothing bad to say about this album. I don't have nothing bad to say about it. It was a damn good album, bro. Damn good. I could spin this album tonight, tomorrow morning, next Thursday, last Thursday, when y'all's mom's next birthday, I'll spend it at their birthday parties. And it's I'm telling you, man, shouts out to us for having the off season at number 2.
Yeah,
Nah.
definitely so.
Nah, I mean, like, just like Lyle said, man, I got nothing bad to say about this shit. Like, it's a damn good album. Every song is well produced. J. Cole's doing his thing, rapping on here. Like, it's an enjoyable album. I don't think there's necessarily a slow spot. I think from beginning to end, like, you can enjoy it. I think there's something for everybody on here. It's just an enjoyable album overall. I have nothing bad to say about it. And, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if it is a lot of people's number one album, honestly.
Yeah. Oh, of course. I can't get mad if someone makes this their number one album, just because like this album, whether it's coming as it, like you said, there's no skips on this album. First and foremost, the production is perfect. Even like, and for me, even when I was going through these albums, my main thing was paying attention. When I'm comparing albums, I'm paying attention to how the album ends, how the album begins. So if the intro, even if let's say the album's good, but the intro or the outro is not good, right? The last song or the beginning song, to me, it's a point to some extent, right? This, he starts it off with, I think it's 95 South. I think it's the first song off this joint or something like that, where with Cam talking. So it it automatically, it reels you right in like, okay, as soon as you press play, because you never know what you get with J. Cole. It could be something super conscious. It could be something that's super sad and depressing. It could be something that some people would call a snooze fest. But like,
if they call this album snooze fest,
and that's the thing, you can't. It's
Right.
hard to. Like the production is so perfect. He has perfect features overall. It's cohesive at the same time. Like for me personally, I would say like Pride is the Devil as well as My Life might be my 2 favorite songs from this whole album. But personally, I think any song you pick off of here, if it's your favorite, I can't get mad at it. Like there's no bad song on this album.
So at number 1,
yes,
of the hip hop album of the year for the Highly Advised podcast, I'm gonna have to add some drums in here like I did last year
for 2021.
Well, actually, before we do that, do we have any honorable mentions?
Well, let's do our honorable mentions after.
Boom. The number 1 album for 2021 is Call Me If You Get Lost by Tyler, the Creator.
Boom, 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 boom. Shouts out to Tyler. He brought the era of the mixtape feeling back with him and DJ Drama.
Yes.
From the first song to the last song, I was like, Tyler, the Creator has wrapped us up. Honestly, I was debating between this and Hitler vs. Hermes Side A as what is my number 1 album. I mean, ultimately, I rolled over with Side A, but honestly, I'm not mad at this being number 1. This album to me was the motherfucking shit. I was just like, oh, here we go. When I remember my first listen through, I was just going through fucking songs twice. I didn't even let the shit run. I was playing songs twice in a row. This album was dope, man. It just gave me that feeling of like, yo, I'm back in the 2010s listening to mixtapes. Like, I fuck with this. I thought it was a dope ass fucking album. Shouts out to Tyler, man. And he just proves that he's very versatile, bro. Like, he could do it all. He can do it all, man. And shouts out Tyler, Creator. Call Me If You Get Lost. Album of the fucking year from the Highly Advised podcast. Kick rocks, eat a dick if you disagree.
Jeez. Oh wow. So following up with that, right? I do agree. Like this is practically a perfect album. Tyler did something that I don't think anybody expected when you press play. Of course, you know DJ Drama and it's Against the Grills, so you expect rapping, but with us understanding who Tyler is, the type of sound he typically goes with, being that he makes most of his own beats, you can tell that the sound deviated a little bit from what we're typically used to, whether it's just keys related or so on and so forth. But this album was just perfect, bro. Hard-hitting beats, no skips, even the features, right? His features alone, to me, I think made this even so much better because knowing who Tyler is, the history that he has in terms of the music he's put out, and the features he goes for someone like 42 Doug, NBA Youngboy, Lil Uzi Vert, Lil Wayne, right? To rap with, right? And these guys actually accommodate him in his songs. Not saying they made better verses than him, of course, but to me, it was just like, yo, this was to me, this was just perfect. And then on top of it, even in some of his other songs, like Massive, for instance, he's talking about like his growth of just maturing as an artist overall, right? Which you don't typically, a lot of artists don't always have that. A lot of artists can't go to that, right? To just be able to be that reflective and rap about it. And this guy just, look, man, Tyler has literally covered all boards on the chessboard, man. Like he hasn't left the spot, no matter what type of sound it is. And this, I think this was like the icing on the cake in terms of like,
he's a legend.
He is a legend.
He's a legend, man. He's a legend.
He's definitely up there, bro. Like I'm not mad
he
at
doesn't
that.
want to say it. Yo,
I'm not mad at that.
You gotta give it to him, bro. You gotta give it to him. He's a legend, man. I'm sorry.
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that being your opinion. I'm not mad at that.
Okay.
I thought this album was damn near perfect. It was good. There might have been like a verse or two that I wasn't really the biggest fan of, and there's a couple songs that I thought were a little too long. But I mean, like, I like this album quite a bit. Actually, it ranked pretty high in my top 10. The beats that he did, you know what I mean, the way he structured the album, it's all good. It's all the evolution of Tyler the Creator, and I think that it's cool to see this all going down like this. I actually am curious to hear what his next album sounds like, which will probably, I'm sure, will sound like another evolution of Tyler the Creator, and I'm curious to see what that will be as well.
Nah, that's definitely a fact. Like for all we know, like Tyler just seems so far, it's like it's very endless in terms of his creativity, right? And it's, to me, it's just amazing. Like to see what he puts out next is going to be very I put it like this. He set the expectations very high for himself, but like he's done any time before, he typically delivers. So I'm not mad at that. So I think it was just a great album, bro. Wilshire to me is probably the best song off this album, personally. But any song that you pick off of this joint is the best song off this album, probably. Right. If it's your opinion. So that might have been the best song though for me though.
Now, do we have any honorable mentions before we end this, y'all?
Yes. Album that was in my top 10, but didn't make the cut. I gotta give it back to West Side. Hitler Wears Hermes 8, Side B. I thought this was a damn good project, y'all. I thought this shit was dope as fuck. It's crazy how you have a guy who had 2 fucking intros on 2 sides of a fucking album. Only him. So this shit is dope. I think Side B, I think I had more West Side rapping. If you are a fan of his that want to hear more rapping from him, it had more West Side rapping. But Side B was totally a different sound from Side A. So once again, I thought it was theater, great production. It had some good surprise features on there, like 2 Chainz. So Side B is my honorable mention.
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that at all. Because it definitely was a good album. For me, my honorable mention may actually, I'm actually gonna go with ESTG. Bigger than Life or Death. To me, I think that was like, in terms of like street albums, to me, I think that was like one of the best street albums to come out this year. Definitely from new talent. In terms of what he talks about, you understand. If you get it, you get it. But yeah, it's just to me, I relate to like rappers that you just can feel, or you feel authentic to who they are or what they rap about, or you just are able to feel there's a feeling of authenticity in their rap. So to me, that may be my sleeper, or that may be my pick. But if we're just talking songs, probably one of my favorite songs from this year is probably Hellcats and Track House by Lil Durk. But
okay. Yeah, I know you had a sneak in Lil Durk.
Hey, bro, listen, bro. You got hey, man.
He did it.
Hey, he was one of the biggest artists last year, bro.
He was, and he might be one of the biggest this year.
Yeah,
we gotta see.
But my honorable mentions were, I was actually gonna say Crime Apple, You Don't Fuck With Crime too. That was in my top 10 of the year. But my honorable mention is Icy Twat, Ghost. I enjoy that EP quite a bit. I listen to it a lot. It's a nice little thing that you can listen to while you're at the gym, like kind of get you, up and going. You know what I mean? I fuck with it a lot, and I fuck with his new project too, actually. But I mean, Ghost was just a nice little uh project from Icy Twat, and he also took like a rapping form to it. And I mean, I'm not gonna say his rapping is like A1, but I like it. So fuck
That's
you if
what's
you
up,
don't.
though. Amen. Amen.
That's
If that's what you're into, that's what you're into, man.
how I feel.
Hey, bro, listen. But nonetheless, though, I'm not mad at the list overall. Surprised a couple other artists didn't make it in. But like at the same time, I think the list of artists that we had was just a good list of art. I think top 10 wise in terms of what came out. I don't think you can go. I don't think you can go. You can be mad at what was released. So or what albums we have in our top 10 that are in the albums that didn't make it. So
I think our top 10 is solid.
oh
I
no,
think
definitely so.
Yeah, I think it's solid, man. I think we did a dope job.
Oh no,
All right.
definitely so. I definitely agree.
Do we have any other words before we get out of here, y'all?
Actually, the one thing I would ask people to do that if you made it this far and you're still listening, go follow us on Instagram at the Highly Advised Podcast,
Yes.
on YouTube, the
Yes.
Highly Advised Podcast, or on Twitter at Advised Highly. And based on what we said, leave a comment or even go into whatever streaming platform you're using and leave a review. Tell us what your favorite song, your favorite album was. Do you agree or do you disagree in terms of like our top 10? Did you have a different number one? Let us know. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, not only you let us know, but make sure that you follow us individually as well. And you can find that if you follow us on the Highly Advised Podcast on Instagram, you'll see our individual things that you can follow. But on top of that, fans and listeners and commentators and haters, we're coming back to you 2022. We're coming with the motherfucking boom. So we're going to put you on our fucking backs, torture racks, and snap the spines. And we're coming back, and we're going to be back on time. Nigel, you got anything else to say?
I don't really have much to say. It's good to be back, listeners. Glad to see y'all, and I hope to see things, keep on moving. You have been highly advised, and we will see you next time.
You've been highly advised.
Let's go.